Hello and so welcome to this video series where we're checking out submissions to the Dungeoncrawler Gamejam of 2023. This time we will have a look at Deepest Dungeon by JellySandwich. So before we jump into the game, let's have a quick look at the description here. Made for the Dungeoncrawler Jam 2023 theme duality. When you kill the monsters, you get an additional piece of flavor text that describes your horrific actions against these innocent creatures. See duality. Yeah, I don't think that this is a strong implementation, but okay. There are bugs. I worked on it as much as I could with a full-time job. It messes up royally. If it messes up royally, just restart. Thanks for the following, for their music, sound effects. And you can already hear the music in the background. Jude and open game art, independent and NU. HellDB Remaxim. Alright, well, let's jump into the game. Deepest Dungeon by JellySandwich. And here we are in the game, and... Ooh. Did it already break? I'm not sure if this is the environment or we are exactly outside of the environment. We don't have a floor. Let me restart the game. Yeah, this time we have a floor. So you can see we have some arrow buttons to move around. We do not have any backwards button. We have an enemy in front of us. Welcome to Deepest Dungeon. The goal is to kill all monsters and to loot all the treasure. Thanks for playing. And it seems like we can not use the keyboard to play. Okay. I'm not even sure if we... No, we are attacking the bat. The bat was days from retirement. Okay. Yeah, okay, the bat is dead. I don't think that we will be able to kill much more. But you died. Okay, retry. Yeah, this doesn't look too great if we are in the... The bat's children will miss him dearly if we are inside the enemy. The sound effect is much too long for movement. If it was just as... That would be enough, but this pup makes no sense to me. The perspective... Yeah, so regarding the perspective, unfortunately you cannot see anything of the tiles left and right. And I think this is also a good example of why you should be able to see left and right. We can actually see the floor, and I think if just this window there would be wider, you could also see what is going on left and right. But right now, if we are looking into this direction, you wouldn't know that we can actually turn right and also go that direction. And the same here, we don't know what's left. Can we go to the other way? No, there's this, a wall. So yes, there should be more, or there should be walls visible to the left and right. Regarding the movement, you can see that it's actually making these buttons unavailable. So at least it gives visual feedback that it's also not working. If there were hotkeys enabled, then you know that it would also not be queued up. So this would also be something which would be nice to have in a game like that. But I think it's nice at least to have these deactivated and grayed out, so that as a player you know that there's no point in clicking at them at this time. So, alright, let's try and kill... It never even felt true love. Yep, this is definitely adding to the game. This is also interesting. We have thin walls, and we cannot see that they are thin because we can't look at it from the side. How many enemies are there? There's a treasure! The bat's entire life was this dungeon. And I think we just broke it. So, apparently the combat interacts with our positioning. Ah yeah, we were... Okay, so we were straightened out by attacking this next bat. But you could see that, or you can even see now, that we are not looking in a straight line anymore. So here on the left side it's higher than on the right side. This line is going up, and this game is probably not big enough for it to matter. But I saw it in another game where you could run around a little bit more, and there you would then start to slide into walls and could not pass the walls anymore. Nothing works. So generally, I think it makes sense to have the map in, I mean, the dungeon crawler definition for dungeon crawler org at least is to have this tile sized and to have 90-degree turns. And this also has the benefit of being in a grid, and you can use that grid to actually determine where you can go and where you need to look. So you don't necessarily need to make an artificial grid, like you're in a 3D environment and every time you go 10, like let's say 1 meter forward, and every time you turn by 90 degrees. Because by that you're basically just working with the symptoms. The issue is that in this case, once something goes wrong, if you only turn by 89 degrees, then these issues, they accumulate. Unless you have another mechanic which straightens them out. Or if you move forward and at some point you don't move a meter, but only like 50 centimeters, and now the whole construction of the map won't possibly work anymore. So if you just have a grid, you can check, is this tile in front of me? Can I move on this tile? And then you move on that tile, and then this transition happens, no matter what is in that tile. I mean, it could as well be a wall, and then you would just go into the wall. But if this tile is defined to be movable, you should be able to move there. And what you see on the screen should just be a visual representation on what is on this 2D grid graph paper map like this, right? So that is not just a limitation of the dungeon crawler definition, that it can also be a strength to make the games, well, easier and more solid in terms of the mechanics. So, great job, you monster. Yeah, we killed everything! Alright, so as I mentioned, the perspective would need some left and right view. I think if this viewport, or whatever you want to call it, was a bit wider, then you would probably have that. Hotkeys would be nice for movement. It's nice that they are grayed out at least to show that this is pointless. There are some bugs, obviously. The combat is super simple, and we might even die on the first or second encounter, as we could see. This is probably like the starting position. So yeah, combat very basic, content very basic. The duality theme, as I keep mentioning, yes, you can always make something up, which was made up here. I don't think that's a strong implementation, but it's fine. It's not like I will rate this highly for the, like, I don't say, okay, this is such a strong implementation that this is much better than anything else, but it's there at least. The sounds, yeah, I find that this movement noise is much too long. This poop should have been enough. I think there was some fighting noises as well, right? So that's okay. The music in the background is very monotonous, but for this small game it's also kind of okay. Yeah, and the art composition, of course, very basic, but it kind of looks polished in some way. It looks solid, not glitchy, but you can see that it is very glitchy. And of course the this random or this turning around, which might also not bring you to a 90-degree angle can also cause problems later on in a bigger environment. So that was Deepest Dungeon by JellySandwich. Overall, I think it's still a nice entry, and it was nice that it was sent in, even though there was not a whole lot to see. Some nice nice one-liners when killing these enemies. Deepest Dungeon by JellySandwich, you will find a link down in the video description. And if you like to see more videos about the jam, you can also find a playlist down there with all the videos I published so far. And of course, you can also subscribe to the channel to not miss any new videos. And with that, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye bye.